During this lesson, you will learn the different modes of operation of the auto-throttle system. These will include takeoff, N1 or thrust modes, and the two speed control modes, mode control panel speed and flight management system speed. This will be followed by arm mode, descent retard mode, landing flare retard mode, and go around mode. Takeoff mode is engaged by pressing either of the takeoff go around switches on the throttles with the aeroplane on the ground, the auto throttles armed, and the desired N1 thrust limit selected from the Flight Management System computer display unit. The auto throttle enunciation changes from arm to N1, and the thrust levers advance toward takeoff thrust. The auto throttle sets the computed N1 value. Between 60 to 80 knots, the auto throttle enunciation changes to throttle hold to indicate the auto throttle cannot change thrust lever position, although they can still be repositioned manually. After takeoff, the auto throttles remain in throttle hold until 400 feet radio altitude is reached and 18 seconds have elapsed since liftoff. Auto throttle enunciation then changes from throttle hold to arm. Reduction to climb thrust can now be made by pressing the N1 switch. Flexible takeoff, or takeoff flex, is a facility to allow the auto throttle to calculate and provide a reduced thrust takeoff by entering an assumed temperature into the flight management system or the thrust mode limit panel. The auto throttle maintains thrust at the N1 limit selected from the Flight Management System computer display unit. N1 is enunciated for the auto throttle, and the N1 switch illuminates. Pressing the N1 switch changes the auto throttle mode from N1 to arm. If an engine fails while the auto throttle is in the N1 mode, the thrust lever of the failed engine, the left one in this case, will advance forward a few degrees and return to or below the other thrust lever position. The speed mode is available throughout the flight once the takeoff phase is completed. Pressing the Mode Control Panel Speed Select switch selects the speed mode if compatible with the engaged Automatic Flight Director System pitch mode. MCP speed is enunciated for the auto throttle, and the speed mode switch illuminates. The speed, or Mach, shown in the Mode Control Panel IAS Mach display is the target speed. The auto throttle will not set power above the displayed N1 limit. However, the auto throttle can exceed an N1 value that has been manually set by the N1 manual set knob. If an engine fails while the auto throttle is in a speed mode, both thrust levers advance together to maintain the target speed. The Flight Management System speed mode is an auto throttle mode which is commanded by the Flight Management System during vertical navigation operation. When engaged, the Mode Control Panel IAS Mach display is blank. The airspeed cursors are positioned at the Flight Management System's commanded airspeed, and the auto throttle maintains this commanded speed. FMC speed is enunciated in the auto throttle flight mode enunciator. The auto throttle is limited to the N1 value shown on the N1 gauge on the engine instruments and crew alerting system display. The auto throttle enunciates arm when the auto throttle arm switch is at arm and no auto throttle mode is engaged. The thrust levers can be manually positioned without interference from the auto throttle system while arm is enunciated. The auto throttle automatically transfers to arm from the speed, or N1 mode, when the mode is deselected by pressing the respective mode selector switch while the switch is illuminated. The auto throttle engages and enunciates retard during level change and vertical navigation descents. Retard changes to arm when the thrust levers reach the aft stop, or when manually prevented from reaching the aft stop. During landing, the retard mode engages, reduces thrust, and enunciates retard shortly after flare mode engagement, or at 27 feet radio altitude, whichever occurs first. During a non-precision or visual approach, with flaps extended to 15 or greater, and the automatic flight director system not in altitude acquire or altitude hold, the auto throttle retard mode engages at 27 feet radio altitude. The auto throttle automatically disengages approximately 2 seconds after landing touchdown. With the auto throttle arm switch at arm, the auto throttle go-around mode is armed when descending below 2000 feet radio altitude, with or without the automatic flight director system engaged. Once armed, the auto throttle go-around mode can be engaged until 2 seconds have elapsed after landing touchdown. Pressing either take-off go-around switch engages the auto throttle go-around mode. Thrust, or N1, is enunciated for the auto throttle, and the thrust levers advance to the reduced go-around thrust setting. This reduced setting produces a 1000 to 2000 feet per minute rate of climb. After reaching reduced go-around thrust, pressing either take-off go-around switch the second time signals the auto throttle to advance thrust to the full go-around N1 limit. After reaching reduced or full go-around thrust, the auto throttle go-around mode can be terminated by selecting another automatic flight director system pitch mode, or when altitude acquire enunciates engaged. During this lesson, you learned about the different auto throttle modes, including takeoff, N1 or thrust, mode control panel speed, flight management system speed, arm, descent retard, landing flare retard, and go-around.